This video is an introduction to various aspects of the GS2Web Calculator template. When you log in to GS2Web SaaS Calculator and click Create a New Calculator, an easy-to-use calculator template will open after you answer the question about the number of inputs and how many graphs your calculator will have. The first important thing to note is that the template first reserves column A to H. The next 4 columns may or may not reserve. It all depends on whether you answered if you have 1 graph or 2 graphs. If you have 1 graph, column I and J will be reserved exclusively for graph data. If you asked for 2 graphs, columns K and L will also be reserved. This was about columns reservation by a template. Now, let us know the purpose of individual columns, A to H. Column A is for labeling the text above input fields. Whatever you write in rows pertaining to column A will appear above input fields as text. Column B is for providing types of input fields. There are 10 types of input fields in GS2Web SaaS Calculator. These are text, number, select, range, radio, checkbox, button, date, group button, and group box. We have created a separate video explaining each type of input. Please watch that to know more about it. Column C of the template is headed as required. What it means is that, if you tick in the checkbox, such input field will be a required field. The required fields are signified by light red backgrounds. Next, column D is titled Data. In this column, you may fill the data associated with inputs. For example, if there was a group button input, you may give 2 buttons names like red and green. It will look like this. Or say, you have set the input type as range. If you want a slider for 100, where on each slide, there should be an increase of 1, and the lowest value is 0 on the scale. Then, the data input for the range will be 0, 100, 1. Column E is for the default value. So, let us say, you have selected date as input type, then you want to set a specific date as the default date that appears on the date input filed. You must write the date in this column. Column F is titled Tooltip. That means, anything you write in this column cell will appear as a tooltip when the user hovers the cursor above a tiny question mark. Column G titled Input is very important. This is the column that has actual input data. So, when the user fills the input fields of the web calculator, the numbers or text input automatically fills cells of this column. So, the calculation formula of your calculator will always refer to these cells of column G. Column H is titled Rules. Basically, this column needed to be filled when you want to do some conditional hiding of certain input fields. Please watch another video on how to hide input fields for better understanding of this column. Now, let us know about the result fields. Whatever you want to show as result must be in rows below the row with the title, Result. One thing, that must be noted is that the very first row after the row having title results is reserved for label or text. So, do not put any formula or part of the result in the very first row. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe and press the bell, so that you are notified about our next help video.